bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Chevy John don't come for you?
It's rare that you see a serial sex offender, but we had one amongst us. And I can't compliment the Winter Haven Police Department and my deputies enough for their work. I'm going to show you the photograph of a very dangerous person. He has a pedigree in being a sexual offender, a deviant. And it's just by the grace of God, at least that we know of, that we don't have any sexually abused dead children. But Deputy Chief Vance Monroe is going to talk more about that. Let me introduce you to Robert Miranda. Robert is 42 years of age. He was arrested in 2000 for lewd battery on a 12-year-old child. At that time, he was 17. So, for whatever reasons, they withheld adjudication. But the good news was they did designate him as a sexual offender. Now, he has a criminal history for years of cocaine abuse, and he bounces back and forth between Brevard County, Polk County, different counties. He gets probation here, probation there. He's locked up for some period of time, but this guy has never been to state prison, and he's got a long criminal history. So let me take you to February 16th of this year at Avenue A and 2nd Street Southwest. There's a mother and daughter who are 30 and 60 years of age. They are simply visiting Winter Haven from North Carolina because they wanted to take a vacation. They looked online and said that, wow, that Winter Haven's a beautiful place. Let's go down and check it out. Well, they saw more than they wanted to. So they're literally standing and admiring Winter Haven when this guy pulls up in a gray Mitsubishi Outlander and masturbates in their presence. Will they attempt to get his tag number? He doesn't have a tag number. So they notify the Winter Haven Police Department. Now let's jump ahead a week. No more activity. February 23rd at 7:20 in the morning at Avenue H and 15th Street Northeast, Winter Haven. This one is in the unincorporated area, just outside of the city of Winter Haven, where this guy pulls up and at 7:20 in the morning ask this 9-year-old child, have you lost a dog? I've got this brown and black puppy shivering in my car. Come over here and look at it. Well, even at that age, she ran. She ran to a neighbor. She was out waiting to go to school. She ran to a neighbor to report this guy who reported that information to us. Then just a few minutes later at 7:40, he shows up again at Avenue J Southeast and 4th Street inside the city. Now understand, between the city and the county is just like a street or two. So on February 23rd at Avenue J, he drove up to a 12-year-old who was wearing a hoodie and had bangs and started masturbating in the presence of the 12-year-old. And that was reported to the Winter Haven Police Department. So the Winter Haven Police Department, as the deputy chief will explain, they put out a bulletin. They're on it. We figure out, hey, after talking to the police, that it's not just our one in the county. It's not just their 2 in the county. We're up to 3 in a very short period of time. We don't have a tag number. He doesn't have a tag on his vehicle. Now, folks, When we saw this pattern of activity, there is normal criminal conduct that we all deal with. And when you look at the three of us, I like to think of me as the youngest of the three. But when you look at the three of us, we've got 100 years of experience in this business, more than 100 years of experience. We knew immediately that we were dealing with a deviant, that a dangerous deviant. Between the police department and the sheriff's office, we had over 100 detectives working on this case. And here's what our supervisors told them. It's a gray Mitsubishi Outlander with no tag. Now go find the guy. Now, folks, that's no leads at all. He's supposed to be in his 20s or 30s. He's wearing all black. When he does these things, he's wearing black shorts, black shirts, and a black or dark colored mask. And the detectives start to work. They piece together video that all of the detectives working together, they piece together videos. And on one piece of video in another part of town, guess what? We found a tag number. So I want to stop for a moment, and I want to congratulate and thank the business owners of Winter Haven. When you put that video in place to protect your customers, to serve your customers, to protect your business, you all collectively stopped a serial sex offender and allowed that person to be caught. And I congratulate our business community. So we do this investigation. We have the tag number. It leads us to Mom. It turns out the family owns a used car auto auction between Haines City and Lake Alfred. And she has loaned this car to her son, who is an auctioneer. We find him in the car in Titusville. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. That's how awesome all of our detectives working together and the strength of our partnerships working together in fast order. We found a guy on the other side of the state that was an imminent danger to the children here in Polk County. We then learned, obviously, and his mother told us, hey, he's a registered sex offender. And we arrested him on March the 1st in Brevard County and served search warrants at his house. Guess what we found? Newsflash, black surgical mask. Then we did a search warrant on his Outlander, and guess what we found? Newsflash, more mask. One of them had what appeared to be polka dots from a distance, and there it was in the vehicle. Well, March 6th was his birthday, and that's the day he arrived at the county jail in Polk County. We moved him back over here 5 days later. That was only part of his birthday present, was to visit Gradytown. The other part of his present was our detectives, in addition to the sex offender violations, lodged attempted kidnapping charges and lewd behavior conduct charges. Our goal is to lock him up for the rest of his life. We were able to enhance these charges because he was wearing a mask when he committed the crime. Our state attorney, Brian Haas, is simply the very best. He and his office recognize how dangerous this person is, and now he's locked up. But for the remaining, we can't rely on a police agency to say, hey, we've got this guy in an Outlander vehicle. If you have anything like this, let us know. His dad owns a used car auction. It's endless, the vehicles. And like the director and the chief said, this guy's 42 years old. And to quote Director Byrd, this ain't his first rodeo. There are other victims out there. What we don't know is, are there dead children someplace around this state with detectives working around the clock trying to figure it out with another vehicle with no tag on it with a similar MO? That's our big fear, is what else has he done? Because he has. And his parents told us part of his job at the auction is to move around Florida looking for vehicles for them to auction off. So he goes to different car dealerships and businesses all over the state. In fact, he was cited in, I believe it was Titusville or someplace in Brevard County, for operating a vehicle without a tag on it. So did that police officer catch him just before he was going to grab a child someplace else? Or did he expose himself to some adult who just paid no attention and wandered away? But listen, folks, I want the community all to hear what the chief and the director and I'm saying. We need to charge him with everything he's ever done. If he gets out again, he'll be after your kids again. And that's a guarantee, because that's who he is. Any questions for us?
Sheriff, I just wanted to ask you, what was your reaction to seeing the surveillance footage?
I was first excited that we had the surveillance footage, and you'll be able to see some of it. You can see how strategic and stealthful he was in his conduct, where he would take the tag off and back around, and he kind of hid the car so he could put the tag back on it. And the tag was off when he would actually go to his prey. This guy planned his events in advance. That's why I think there's a real possibility of a lot of other events. I pray that there's no dead children, dead and sexually abused children in the group. But this guy has been doing this for a while. That, once again, there's 100 years of law enforcement experience here. We've been there, done that, investigating these kinds of people in the past. They are rare, but they are real and they are dangerous.
You've already spoken to this, but I think people may hear 100 detectives. You expelled a lot of resources on this. Obviously, you were trying to prevent the worst. You thought that the worst was possible.
That's exactly what my colleagues, and once again, you know, I brag on my deputies, my detectives, and the relationships with the police department. We had cops out on every street all over Winter Haven because we knew he was coming back. But we happened to find him before he came back. And the reason for a lot of these resources is we had no tag number. All we had was a description, and we could not allow him to come back to this defined area, which is now his area of attack, without us being there. So how do you make sure he does not get out of our dragnet? You put law enforcement officers every place. And I thank God for our detectives that found him before he got a child.